Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm talking about detachment, letting go, but looking at it in a completely different way in order to manifest what you want. And I was reminded of this almost 2 weeks ago now. I had let something go on for far too long. I was stuck in a loop, a kind of a doing things loop, a desperation of trying to change something that was. And what I did and how instantly it started to shift, and a full 3 days later I was completely, it was done, it was sorted. So I woke up, God, it must have been about 3 weeks ago now. I woke up with a bit of discomfort in my neck, which I do sometimes get in my neck and shoulders as I've got older. I do. I have a neck pillow sometimes that I have to use. I got up and I thought, I don't know, it feels a bit worse than usual. And I just touched the back of my neck and it just set off this chain of events basically. I had this shooting pain up my head, into my eye. The base of my skull was agony. I mean, I could not even touch it. I couldn't put my hair up like this or anything. It was so painful. And in the moment, I just assumed it was going to pass because I'd had that shooting pain before. I'd never really known what it was, and it had lasted a few seconds. So I just thought it was just that weird pain again, but didn't know what it was. And then I thought, this isn't going. And I went out, made a coffee. And I said to Jeremy, oh my God, I am literally in agony. It's okay, I'm sure it's going to pass. No, it didn't pass. It just carried on until I could not function because I couldn't think about anything else bar the pain. Apart from childbirth, it's the most painful thing I've ever experienced, and it wasn't going anywhere. But I still, in the back of my mind, thought it'll probably go. By the end of the day, it'll probably be gone. No, it just went on and on, to the point where the next day, I couldn't sleep that night. I had to sleep sitting up. Could not sleep at all because I couldn't put any pressure on my head whatsoever. As soon as I put pressure back like that, it was agony and I couldn't do it. So I was getting no sleep. I was absolutely knackered. I couldn't go to the office because I couldn't drive because I didn't feel confident to drive because all I could think about was this pain. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to concentrate on anything at all. And I didn't want to speak to anyone. I just wanted to be left alone to look on YouTube and find a solution. So I was looking and looking. I found loads of useful videos working for everybody else. No, I couldn't get anything to give me any relief whatsoever. In fact, everything just made it worse. And it just went on and on and on. And I was stuck in this pain loop and desperate to get out of it. And there's got to be something. I was doing what I tell everybody not to do and what I tell myself not to do, which I haven't done for a long time, but the pain was driving me. And so much so that I made a doctor's appointment, which I don't do unless I'm desperate, because it's so difficult to get a doctor's appointment without a hassle here in the UK. In most surgeries, I'm sure there are some good ones around, but in ours it is particularly difficult. And so much so that I made a private doctor's appointment a little while ago, but I had to wait 2 weeks for that even. But that was okay, I wasn't desperate, I just wanted to talk about a few things. But this time I was having none of it. I just thought, you just got to be forceful. And I was. And I said, no, I need to come in, I need an appointment. Someone's got to see me, basically. And that's that, I can't go on like this. So I did, I managed to get an appointment that morning, up I went. It wasn't useful to me really, that appointment. He wasn't really listening to me. He told me what it was. I knew what it was, I'd learned what it was, and it was called occipital neuralgia. So I knew what it was. And I knew why it was probably happening. All the muscles were clamped up around this nerve and basically weren't giving at all. And it was agony. I mean, he gave me a lot of time and everything, but he gave me nothing for it. And I just wanted something. I thought, well, maybe a muscle relaxant or anything, something that's just going to relieve this clampedness. I guess it's like sciatica when you get a nerve trapped in your leg or your back, isn't it? And you're in agony in your leg. I guess it was like that. So painful. And I came home and I felt really depressed because I thought, I can't cope with this. I can't go on like it. I can't function. What am I going to do? And I was thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What can I do? Because there's no help for me. There is no help for me. I've tried everything that is suggested to help this and nothing is happening. And then I was overwhelmed with a feeling of just stop it and ride the wave was the phrase that came to me, just ride the wave. And in that moment, I felt an element of relief. I thought, just stop, there's nothing I can do. What do I think I'm doing? I've put the cure outside of me. I've put the solution outside of me, which I'm always saying don't do, and I don't do. Why am I doing it? Because the pain is driving that, I get it. And I just thought, you're just gonna have to go with the pain. Ride the wave, it is gonna be temporary. And logically in the moment, I thought, it's going to be temporary. And I also did this, and I asked myself the logical question, and I do this a lot. This is great for anxiety. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think it is that this is never going to go away? And I said 1 to myself, because it was highly unlikely. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think that now you are releasing on this, that this might get better? And I went up to an 8. And I felt better for that. And instantly I started to feel better. Like instantly I thought, I don't think it's as bad. Like instantly. Next day, almost gone. Third day, completely gone. And to the point where I have had the most comfortable night's sleep that I've had for months, really. Everything is more relaxed, because it was just a stark reminder. What are you doing? I was stuck in a manifestation loop, stuck in a loop of trying to fix something, stuck in a loop of trying to mend something, because I thought I was broken. You know, how can I mend myself? But it wasn't about that. It was letting go of that and letting the transition happen, you know, from pain to no pain. And I was happy with 50% less. I thought if I get 50% less, then I am good with that. I can cope with that. Like, I just got to be able to cope. I've got to be able to get through my day. I've got to be able to work. I've got to be able to speak to clients, you know. So that was... But I imagine kind of the second day probably was about 60% better. And then after that, I was like, whoa, okay, there you go. I just reminded myself of how this works. I released on it. So I physically relaxed and I mentally relaxed. And then something changed. Nothing can change while you're holding on to it. So while you're trying to fix it, you're trying to come up with a solution to the problem, you won't be able to do it. You'll get stuck in a loop. And I firmly believe I'd still be doing that now. If I carried on like that, nothing would have changed. Because what I would have been doing is, you know what happens when you do this? And I'll explain why. You're living in the energy of it. I was living in the energy of the pain, of the discomfort, of the can't get anything done, all of that stuff. I was living in the energy of that. So I was going to see more of it, more of it, more of it. I was holding it in place. I had to step out of it, know it was there, ignore it to a point. I was ignoring it. I was getting on doing things, just ignore it. Just ignore it and it'll go away. Basically like anything, isn't it? You just ignore it and it'll go away. And that's what I did, you know, and I just feel like, God, if I could do that with that much pain, what else can I do? That's crazy. But it was that knowing that I couldn't do anything else, knowing that what I'd done hadn't worked. Nothing was working, absolutely nothing. And when you're stuck in a loop like that, nothing will ever work. It just won't work, it can't. Because you're in the energy of what you don't want. You're living in the energy of the thing that you don't want. You're living in the energy, I must fix this broken thing. So you're saying, I'm broken, I'm broken, I'm broken. And you are not broken. This is just a version of reality at the moment. So like, I don't know why I suffered like that. I'm not going to go, what was I thinking that made that happen? What did I do that made that happen? I never go down that road. It's pointless unless I absolutely know what it is. And I think, okay, I can put that right. So I was using Louise Hay affirmations, because she says anything in the neck like that is like a non-flexible view of life. And I can be a bit like that. So I thought, yeah, I get that. So I was using that, like thinking more flexibly. So being open to other views, you know, in general, big views and little views. And I was practicing that. So that was good. And I thought, I'm determined to do that. Yeah, we should all be more flexible in our thinking, be able to see both sides of the argument. So I went with that. All is well. I love that of hers. And I am safe. That's a good one. And the back of you, okay, behind you, the past, anything you're feeling back there, she says is a problem with the past. You're not letting go of the past. So her affirmation for that is, I think it was something like, I released the past with love, or I let go of the past with love, something like that. So I was using that as well. That doesn't hurt, and I carried on using that, and I always use all is well and I am safe, because I love those, and everything is resolved in my favour. And what I really tend to do now is go, everything I'm concerned about is resolved in my favour, because that just covers everything. And if you really want something, you are concerned, it's not going to go how you want it to go, aren't you? So it doesn't matter what that concern is. I love that. And when I say that, I actually feel that, as in I believe it. I really, part of me, just for a moment, I get this sort of belief that goes with it, and that passes. But I think, Yeah, I think internally, I really do believe that. So all of that stuff was really helpful. I carried on doing that, but with no expectation. I wasn't looking to find a cure. I wasn't looking to get a new massage technique. But I will say this, that a few weeks ago, I was waking up really uncomfortable in the mornings because my neck, I have got a neck pillow that I use sometimes, and I was like, oh God, stretching my neck, uncomfortable. And within about half an hour, it was okay again. But I have had that on and off over the years. And I thought to myself, I wish that I'd be lovely just to wake up in the morning, not in pain, just feeling nice, with no discomfort whatsoever. And then all of this happened. And since that, and since the stuff that I looked at on YouTube that wasn't working for me, one of the massages I've taken forward thinking, well, that will probably help me in the future. And it totally has. And I've had some really great night's sleep where I haven't been in any discomfort in the morning at all. So I now look at that and I think, was this crappy thing that happened part of this manifestation where I wanted to wake up feeling better in the mornings, and now I am, but I had to have this middle section which wasn't nice, which drove me to find out something that's helped me have a more comfortable waking time, because I can sleep through it, and I'm not uncomfortable at night because once I'm out, I'm gone normally. But it's when I wake up I think, oh God, it is painful, uncomfortable, I suppose, tense, and I've just got this massage now, which is a trigger point massage, not your usual type of massage, which maybe it's that's responsible for the fact that I don't seem to have that at the moment. Who knows? I think these things change with our vibration. So, if we have a very particularly low ebb, then we can start having a lot of things like that happen. And then we come up and I'm a bit more, I'm sort of more neutral now. So we shall see where that goes. But again, it's the detachment from it. It's not you don't have to go, I'm giving it to something else, I'm giving it to God, or I'm giving it to Source, or I'm giving it to the universe, because that does come with an element of resistance. You just go, I'm riding the wave. This is the wave I'm riding at the moment. I have no option, because it is what it is, and it doesn't matter what I do because I've done all of this and nothing's helped so far. So why is it going to suddenly help? No, it's not. Let's just ride this wave and see where it goes. So you fall into it. Rather than push at it and resist it, you fall into it. That's what it's like, really. And if you're riding the wave, you are with it, aren't you? With that wave. Imagine the wave coming and then you try to ride against it. It's not going to happen. Right, okay, I'm going to stop there. I hope this is useful. If you don't know anything about me, I'm an author, manifestation coach, and a mindset coach.